The story of Purim takes place during the last 20 years of the 70 years of the Babylonian exile. The Persians had conquered Babylon and extended their reign over 127 provinces from India to Ethiopia. It was during the reign of King Xerxes, known in the Bible as Ahasuerus, who lived in the 5th century before the Common Era. During the last day of his inaugural feast, when King Ahasuerus was drunk, he ordered his queen Vashti to be killed for refusing to appear before him and his guests in order to show off her beauty. When King Ahasuerus became sober, he remembered Vashti, and his advisor Haman recommended that he find a new bride. There was a Jewish man named Mordechai who had been exiled from Jerusalem. He lived in Shushan, the capital city of the Persian Empire, where he reared his cousin Esther, who was an orphan. Esther, who was beautiful, was taken to the king and became the new queen. Following these events, Haman became the king's favorite from among all the other ministers. The king commanded that everyone bow and prostrate themselves before Haman. But Mordechai, as a Jew, never bowed down before Haman. Haman was enraged by Mordechai's actions and sought vengeance against the entire Jewish people. He convinced the king of the benefits of his plan to exterminate the Jews of the realm. Haman cast a lot, to determine the exact date for executing his revenge. The extermination was to take place on the 13th day of the month of Adar. After learning what happened, Mordechai tore his clothes and cried loudly. He asked Esther, which is the queen now, to intercede with the king and to appeal and plead with him to save her people. Esther accepted this responsibility. She told Mordechai very clearly, "Go assemble all the Jews in Shushan and fast. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night and day." On the 3rd day, Esther, dressed in her royal garb, stood in the foyer. When the king saw her, he immediately invited her into his chamber and asked her, "What is your request, my dear queen? And it shall be granted to you." Queen Esther replied that she would like to invite him to attend a dinner together with Haman at her palace. That evening, the king and Haman went to dine at Esther's palace. Esther asked them to return the next day for yet another dinner. Haman, who left the dinner in a happy mood, encountered Mordechai on his way home and became infuriated. At home, he discussed the situation with his family and friends. They advised him to build a 50-foot gallows on which to hang Mordechai, and he ordered the gallows to be built. That same night, the king was unable to sleep. He found out that Mordechai saved him from an assassination plot. The king asked Haman, who just entered the palace, to reward Mordechai by dressing him with royal robe, royal crown, mount him on a royal horse, and have Haman parade this man, which is Mordechai, on the streets proclaiming before him, "This is what is done to the man whom the king wishes to honor." Haman, very, very disappointed and sorely shaken, obeyed the king's command. He had no other choice. Later that afternoon, Haman was rushed to attend the dinner that Esther made for himself and the king. At the dinner, Ahasuerus asked Queen Esther to state her request. Esther replied, asking that her life and the life of her people be spared, for the person sitting next to the king, Haman that is, has planned to slay, destroy, and annihilate both herself and the entire Jewish people to which she belongs. Ahasuerus was enraged. He got up from the meal. Harbona, an officer of the king, informed Ahasuerus that Haman built a 50-foot gallows in which to hang Mordechai. The king immediately ordered that Haman be hanged on it. The Jews greeted the news with joy and gladness. The Jews of Persia celebrated their freedom and salvation. In the aftermath of this event, Queen Esther and Mordechai wrote to all the Jews in the entire kingdom of Persia to establish these days of Purim as days of feasting and celebration, and for sending delicacies to one another and giving gifts to the poor. These days were called Purim because of the pur, the lot that Haman had cast to destroy the Jews. All the Jews willingly accepted Mordechai and Esther's ordinance with great joy, and Mordechai the Jew became the viceroy to the king Ahasuerus, and he saw the good of his citizenry. And the Jews had light and gladness, joy and honor. Purim Sameach, Happy Purim.